Hi, this is Daniela Wolf with Bestie Life, the podcast, and this is your community to support you through the little and not so little events that make up your day-to-day life. From the I've got this moments to the I just can't moments. We are here to empower all women to find and develop the skills they need to find peace, balance, and the bliss in their busy. Through solo episodes as well as interviews with amazing women who share their journey and their story and how it works for you. I hope you find the inspirations to make you laugh, think, as well as maybe rethink what you thought you knew, and connect as we realize that we are all living similar ups and downs and don't have to do it alone. So excited for you to hear this episode, and thanks so much for joining me today. I love sharing and talking about burnout and talk about this for hours. I get so excited and so passionate about this because I think it's so important. And especially as entrepreneurs, people always assume burnout comes from something negative, a job we don't like, something that we're not happy about. But actually, entrepreneurs can be more at risk for burnout because this is something we're so excited about. We're so passionate about. We enjoy this. We like to spend our time doing these types of things. We're personally invested, both emotionally and financially. And so we can ride those highs and lows of a business that we know we all can experience so much more profoundly because of that personal investment, as well as, many times we're solopreneurs. And so we're kind of in our own little bubble. We can be in isolation, which is why I love amazing groups where we can get together and support each other and kind of recognize we're all going through some very similar things and to support each other in that way. And so my goal is to help not only to prevent burnout, because prevention is easier than recovery, but to just kind of look at what kind of strategies and things can you be implementing on a regular basis to put some of those boundaries in place so that your passion can still stay in alignment with that work-life harmony rather than allowing it to become a full-on obsession that takes up all your time and can lead to burnout. So there's three key areas I like to help kind of enlighten people on and focus on when it comes to preventing that burnout. The first one is your mindset. There's a lot of information about the difference between a fixed and a growth mindset. And, having kind of a fixed, rigid mindset can lead to burnout because when you're fixed and rigid, you think there's only one way to do this. This is the company I have to have. This is the way I have to look. We can allow ourselves to talk into that guilt and limiting beliefs of either who am I to be doing this, or, I always should be doing this. I feel guilty if I'm not working on our business. Where with a growth mindset, you're able to pivot. You give yourself the grace that maybe your business is going to change. It's going to look a little different. You allow yourself to take time away from it and recognize that you can have other interests. You can do other things and that it's not at the detriment of your business, and see that it's actually going to help you grow, be more productive, be more creative if you take that time away. And so rethinking the way you look at your business, approach your business, and approach your day, that mindset part of it is sometimes the most important part that gets overlooked because it doesn't look as actionable. People love to jump to action. Tell me what to do. Tell me what steps to take. But I always think, the way you think affects the way you feel. And when you feel differently, you act differently. And so if you don't focus on the way you're thinking, those actions won't have that intention behind it to really make a difference. So I always ask my, clients and the people I talk to, start with your mindset and really start to notice at least, how are you approaching your business? What's your mindset? Do you find yourself to be more fixed and set and inflexible and structured in a way that doesn't always feel good? Or do you allow yourself that growth, that ability to pivot, that ability to take some time away and give yourself that grace to know that it's not always going to look perfect, not every day is going to be the same, but that's okay. So that would be the first step for mindset. The second has to do with your time. I know time is one of those huge areas we always think we can never get enough of. We always want more of. It's interesting. I was reading this article that talked about how back about 100 years ago, a sign of success and wealth was how much free time you had, where now busy seems to be that badge of honor, that value of success, where if you're so busy where you don't have free time, you must be important. And so the way we've looked at time has definitely shifted. rigid, and we need to be able to kind of reclaim some of that time in order to help ourselves not get burnout in our businesses. And there's so many ways we can end up looking busy in our day. A lot of times in our business, we can be working for hours and hours, but it's not necessarily all productive. We can go off on social, we can go do a lot of different little things. But by really taking control and being intentional with our time is how you can help kind of decrease your fatigue, decrease that drain on just feeling like you're always in it and that chances of burnout. And there's a lot of different tools to help you do that. There's the Eisenhower matrix that can really help you prioritize what's urgent and what's important. And there's a whole strategy with that. Using the Pomodoro method, being intentional about working for set periods of time and then taking intentional breaks with that time. Because once you prioritize maybe 2 to 3 tasks that you're going to work on that day, and then having set time to do it, you're actually able to be more present and focus and get away from that multitasking that we do get caught up in sometimes when we just have like 5 things on our plate and we're trying to juggle them all at once. Being intentional and focused makes you more productive, makes you more present, and it helps, again, make you more productive in the long run and more creative and just less chances of burnout. So by setting the priorities, setting specific times for those days, and then having the intentional scheduled breaks throughout your day, because I think that gets overlooked too. When we plan our day, we plan what we're going to do, but we don't always think about what am I not going to do? What am I not going to allow to creep into certain times in my day, whether it's your morning, whether it's your lunchtime, setting some breaks. That's such an important part, because then that leads into the last part, which is also one of my favorite topics, which is self-care. I think self-care gets a bad rap. It's talked about as like something fluffy, a luxury, a nice to have, that type of a thing. But I think it's so essential. It's like brushing your teeth and eating. It's essential to your everyday well-being. And so it's not just the spa days, the bubble baths, the getaways, but it's very practical is the way I talk about it. It's a practical self-care throughout your entire day. It's everything from the way you eat, the way you sleep, the way you think about money, how you move, how you connect with others, how you dress, how you decorate and organize your home. These are all ways that can help kind of bolster your confidence, make you feel good about yourself, which is the point of self-care. It's not always about being zen and relaxing. It's about the energy you create for yourself to feel recharged, to feel like you're showing up as a boss, to feel like you've got this. And so taking intentional self-care breaks throughout your entire day, 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, is really the key to being able to help kind of build that toolbox and prevent that burnout, have that constant armor, because life's going to happen. We might think we have it all planned and together, and then poof, something comes up, whether it's with your family, whether it's with your kids, whether it's something in your business. And by already kind of doing that pre-work, it's almost like you train at the gym physically. This is your mental fitness. This builds your resiliency so that you can handle when life happens. And it doesn't have to be done in isolation as well. I think that's another misnomer. People think it's got to be quiet and the lights and your breathing. Laughter is a great form of self-care. Getting together and connecting with others, laughing, talking, sharing, not staying inside your bubble is a great way to practice self-care. Taking a 10-minute walk in nature. Nature is so restorative. Drinking water, having those breaks throughout your day, listening to a podcast. Like I said, having that space in your home that when you get there at the end of the day feels like your retreat, feels like your space that makes you feel good. Knowing what clothes fit you well so that you're like, I got this today because I'm not tugging at a shirt that feels too tight or things like that. They sound trivial sometimes. They sound like these little things, but those are the things that can distract you, that can mentally throw off your game. And so being aware of and knowing those things makes you feel good your entire day and helps your self-care, helps you to stay, again, more productive, creative, and stay kind of in it for the long haul. Owning a business is a marathon. It's not a sprint. I think we all know that, it's not going to be a quick one shot to the top. We have those highs and lows. We need that strength to kind of build what we're kind of working on and enjoy the journey along the way. And so those are kind of my top 3 things to help you to find that bliss in your busy and enjoy your business as you grow it and become successful. Thanks so much again for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please let me know any questions or comments that you have. Also, if you can please leave an Apple 5-star review so that this episode can be shared with more women. There's 2 quotes that I love. Alone we may be strong, but together we are stronger, as well as when women support each other, incredible things happen. So let's be stronger and incredible together, as well as maybe just have some fun along the way. Thanks so much and talk to you soon. Bye.